Every time tragedy strikes or pain seems inescapable, one question echoes in our minds. If there's a loving, powerful God, why do we suffer? Welcome to Wrestling with God, big questions, honest conversations. I'm Cliff Sims, and today we're tackling one of the most persistent puzzles of our existence. Why does God allow suffering? Whether you're coming at this from a place of faith or doubt, or somewhere in between, stick around as we explore this question from multiple angles. The problem of suffering isn't just an abstract idea discussed by theologians, it's lived reality. We see it in personal loss and natural disasters and everyday hardships that punctuate life. So, how do we reconcile the existence of pain with the idea of a benevolent, omnipotent God? This isn't an easy question. And today, I'm not claiming to have all the answers. Instead, I want to share some perspectives that might help us to better understand this complex issue. Let's start with the classical formulation of the problem of evil. The challenge is often put like this. If God is both all-loving and all-powerful, then evil and suffering shouldn't exist. Yet, there they are. Many philosophers and theologians have wrestled with this dilemma over the centuries. Some argue that the very existence of suffering is evidence against a benevolent deity, while others suggest that our limited perspective might obscure a larger, unknowable plan. Today, we'll examine a few of the prominent ideas. It helps to differentiate between types of suffering. On one hand, there's moral evil, the pain caused by human actions such as cruelty or injustice. And on the other hand, there's natural evil, which includes events like earthquakes, disease, and other natural disasters. Each type raises its own questions. The free will defense, for example, is often invoked to explain moral evil. If humans are granted genuine freedom, then the possibility of making harmful choices is an inevitable consequence. But natural evil presents a tougher challenge. If these disasters aren't directly caused by human choices, what purpose might they serve? One common response is the free will defense. This view holds that for love, morality, and genuine relationships to exist, human beings must have the freedom to choose, even if that freedom sometimes leads to terrible consequences. In this light, suffering is a byproduct of the gift of autonomy. But even this explanation doesn't entirely satisfy when we confront tragedies that just seem utterly disconnected from human decision-making. Still, it's worth considering that a world with genuine freedom may inherently come with risks that we have to accept, even if they lead to pain. Another perspective comes from what some call the soul-making theodicy. And this idea suggests that suffering, as painful as it is, can lead to profound personal and moral growth. Hardship can force us to grapple with limitations, forge resilience, and develop empathy. Think of it like a refining fire. Difficult experiences may strip away superficiality, leaving behind a deeper, more authentic understanding of who we are and what we value. Of course, this view doesn't justify suffering in a moral sense, but it does offer a way to understand how hardship might transform us. Another important point is the recognition of our own limited perspective. And I love this perspective. Some argue that our finite human minds simply are not capable of grasping the full scope of the divine plan. In this view, suffering might be a part of a tapestry whose design we can't see yet. It's a humbling thought, acknowledging that there might be reasons beyond our understanding. It doesn't provide immediate comfort, but it does invite us to be cautious about drawing definitive conclusions about the nature of God and suffering. One more angle to consider is that suffering might be an inevitable aspect of a world governed by consistent natural laws. Okay, in a universe that operates on predictable principles, the occasional tragedy, like a natural disaster, or a devastating disease outbreak may simply be a side effect or a symptom that, on the whole, provides order and stability. In other words, the very conditions that allow life, growth, and beauty might also carry within them the seeds of pain. This perspective, it doesn't resolve the moral questions. It may offer a way to think about suffering as part of the inherent complexity of life. I know that these perspectives can feel unsatisfying, especially when you're facing real, unrelenting pain. I've wrestled with these questions myself, wondering, why is the world so full of injustice and hardship? While none of these ideas fully answer the question, they at least provide a framework for discussion. They remind us that the problem of suffering is not a simple puzzle with one neat solution, but rather a multifaceted challenge that touches on free will, personal growth, natural order, and the limits of our understanding. I want to emphasize that wrestling with these questions is not a sign of weak faith or a lack of courage. It's a testament to our commitment to seek the truth, however painful that journey may be. Whether you're a devout believer trying to reconcile your experiences, a skeptic questioning long-held assumptions, or someone just simply wanting to understand the nature of suffering, know that you're not alone in your quest. Honest dialogue and persistent inquiry are essential, and every question brings us a little closer to insight, even if the answer remains elusive. Well, as we close today's conversation, I'm left with more questions than answers probably, but perhaps that's okay. The challenge of understanding why suffering exists is a journey rather than a destination. I encourage you to reflect on these perspectives and consider how they might inform your own understanding of life's hardships. Please share your thoughts and questions and experiences, whether they reaffirm your beliefs or challenge them. You can reach out on social media, leave a comment, or send me an email. Let's continue this honest conversation together. You can find my contact info on riverchurchdecatur.com. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Wrestling with God. I'm Cliff Sims, and until next time, keep questioning, keep seeking, and keep wrestling with these big questions.